Hi, I'm Bruce Scott, and welcome back to part two of A Pink House Mystery. I'd like to point out, before we begin, a scale model that fellow islander Joe Kamara has built of the Pink House. Of particular interest is the front porch, in a turnaround driveway with a flagpole in the middle. But let's pick up where we left off. I hope this model might help you visualize the story I'm about to read. No matter the outcome of the house's fate, this much is true. The tides will ebb and flow endlessly as the sea breathes slowly over the grassy marsh twice a day. And the wind will blow the birds to their destination on the flyaway, over a vacant place, with the house, the boat, the people forgotten and previously unheard from. Part 2. How did we get there? To take you into the past, the story begins in the 1950s with the boat still in the backyard. It brought us there is at the very beginning. You can barely spot it if you look hard as you go by slowly. What wooden boat? Did you not spot it yet in all the time with remnants of tufts of grass growing around it as a marker of its former resident? Well, that's okay. The Pink House is the attraction. The boat has sagged and melted into the marsh, almost imperceptible to the eye, just like the baseball field just west of the driveway no one talks about, or the claim of a trolley turnaround in the yard of 32 Plumbush Downs to cast you back in time to her previous address as we knew it when we originally moved in. Can you imagine my neighbor's comments about the trolley accessing and coming across the front yard and coming out this ramp here that stops the tide from flowing over to this driveway? Can you imagine trolley workers or folks waiting for the next trolley to come across the causeway to be hanging around and not having anything to do and playing baseball? In a kind of field of dreams type moment, we uncovered a baseball field here when we mowed this field, and there was a baseball diamond, and we played on that field with my friends, and they'll attest to the story. Well, the gentleman across the street, old Frank Partlow, has passed, but he aptly called the place Mosquito Park. It was the boat that first brought us there, you see, and boating is a critical part of every young Islander's life. It's essential to live with the way of the water and sand. The number 32 Plumbush Downs, was the original address, changed by the town planners to 60 Turnpike Road later on. A pleasant, almost elegant English-style address had been changed to a neutral, disappointing one without personality. It's always 32 Plumbush Downs to me. By the way, Plumbush Downs, a little-known place in Essex County, still exists across the street in a small group of houses facing the Merrimack River, spread between the Plumbush Creek to the west and the Plum Island River to the east. One unsolved mystery is, why is it called Plumbush Downs? There hasn't been a Plumbush there in my 72 plus years. At least there wasn't one at the Pinky, which was surrounded by pepperweed, thick wild marsh grass mostly, and a huge bayberry bush we used to play hide and seek in, just in front of the house. It was a treat in the spring to walk out with an aluminum cooking pot and a knife to cut the wild asparagus, the best I've had to this day. A circular driveway contained a landscaped mixture of hardy Russian olive trees on the outer edge, with white and pink wild roses in the middle, completed with a fringe of hundreds of self-perpetuating portulacas blooming on the ground. A quince tree provided shade for the rhubarb, which often made a pie in the summer. The weeping willow stands back at the perimeter of the parking area and still thrives somehow. One day, a burlap bag of pine seedlings arrived. There was 100 in the package, and we planted them for wind and privacy break. They would grow from 1 foot tall to 30 foot, and before grown, they're all grown now, all gone now. Thankfully, wild growth is taking around the house again. To carry on, the boat had oaken ribs, steamed to form her shape, onto which cedar planks were fastened. The planks formed the hull and would swell watertight for the Sebago Lake-style 16-foot runabout with bench seats and a small foredeck. Like its new owner, my father, Milton Long Stott, it came from Maine originally. The white boat would be sold to him in Hampton, New Hampshire on a bright sunny day in the marshes in 1953. It was powered by a 30-horsepower Evinrude outboard engine, and it moved right along as I stared out the Nash station wagon window, amazed, watching him test out the boat. The boat was a glorious thing for us all to be together, also bonding us to the water. And those times were all too rare, with Dad being one of the original road warriors, installing textile mills from Quebec to Alabama. And Father was just so comfortable in the water, Sister Julie recalls. He did not talk much of his youth, nor the time he spent working on ore tankers in the Great Lakes or delivering mail by water on Sebago Lake. He knew boats, having been a mailboat driver on Sebago Lake when summering at the parents' camp away from the city of Portland. It's how adults were then, not saying much, reserved and stoic. But he taught us all we could absorb about boating and the way of the water. It's probably what led me to be a schooner man for a few years, but that's a different story. Thanks for listening. Next week, Thursday or Friday, 25th or the 26th of October, I'll be back to read you part 3. Thanks again, and bye for now.